Hello everyone and welcome back to our D365 ERP channel. So in today's episode we are diving into the concept of legal entity in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation. We will walk through the creation process and explore the essential setup required when we establishing a new legal entity. So actually this episode is specifically I have created for the consultant who are new to the D365 Finance and Operation, as well as SCM, like supply chain management consultant or commerce consultant, who may not typically handle a legal entity creation. Often they are rely on the finance consultant for this aspect. So by watching this episode you will gain a valuable insight into the process of creating a new legal entity. So for those who are following our channel, you might have noticed that our series covering SCM modules such as procurement and sourcing, inventory management, product information management and more. So if you are interested in exploring this topic further, I will include the playlist link in the description below. So this video of the new legal entity creation is more on the side of finance space. So this video might be longer as we aim to cover the entire process of new legal entity creation and highlighting the crucial parameter along the way. So make sure you stay tuned until the end of the complete understanding. So first let's start by understanding what exactly a legal entity signifies in the Microsoft Dynamics 365. Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation, a legal entity is like a separate company inside the system. Each one has its own finance, reports and rules to follow, allowing companies to manage a different part of their business separately into the one system. Microsoft Dynamics series support the concept of multiple legal entity for multiple companies. So I'll explain you with the use case. Okay, so if you have a customer whose manufacturing plant is in China and having a distribution plants in India, Singapore, USA and so on, so it's possible to define all this legal entity as a company in the dynamic system. So at the moment I am in the USMF legal entity, which is US based company. So this company have US specific localization predefined by Microsoft with their demo data. So here let me click on this drop down. So here we have many legal entities for India, USA, Germany, and in the latest version of finance and operation you will find the new legal entities for the new countries like UAE. Microsoft releases new legal entity UAE also with the predefined data in the system. So this predefined legal entity with the demo data we can use for the learning and the testing purpose. But when you go for the actual implementation, so it is required for you to create your own legal entity based on their customer requirement. So this creating new legal entity process I will demonstrate you in the next part of the video. So in order to create a new legal entity, we click on this burger icon. Here we have modules option, so we'll click on this button. We'll see all the modules in the dynamic system. So here I will select the organization administration module. Here I collapse all, click on this organization. In the organization we have legal entity form, so I'll click on this legal entity form. So when I click on this legal entity form, system will navigate us to the legal entity creation form. So here you will see all the legal entities available in the system. So in order to create a new legal entity, we click on this new button. So here for this demonstration I am creating a new legal entity for client which is in hardware space. So let's name it as a Metro Tech. I'll just click remove. Here I'll mention the legal entity name Metro Tech. In the company form you can specify the ID of the company, so I'll define as a MT, and the region and country. It is important that you will select the country properly, because whatever the company you have chosen here based on the business process and the taxation will be changed. So for example, if you are selecting the country in US, then you will apply the taxation for the US based country. So here for this demonstration I live in India, so I'll create a new legal entity for India. So I just search for the India over here and select this. Okay, so now click on this OK. So when you click on the OK, the new legal entity is created in the system with the basic structure. So now our legal entity is created. We need to fill the important information in this legal entity form. So I'll just first thing is a memo. So in memo you can give the company information, what company actually did or what is the purpose of this company. So I'll just enter the okay. So in the search name we can enter the short company name. So our company name is already one word, so I don't need to change anything. The next one important is a hierarchy. So this hierarchy parameter is turn on. We can turn on this parameter manually. So here we'll try to turn on. It's already grayed out for this option to enable. So we can manually turn on or turn off this parameter because this parameter is automatically turned on by the system. So the main purpose of this parameter is within every company in Microsoft Dynamics 365 there is a concept of organization hierarchy. So in this module we have capabilities to set up a hierarchy in the system. We'll cover this hierarchy part like organization hierarchy, positional hierarchy in our future episode. So I'll give you the short information about this now. So whenever you define the organization hierarchy or organization structure and associate with these legal entities, so this parameter automatically enable. So whenever this parameter is turned on for any legal entity, then that means that this organization hierarchy is enabled for this particular legal entity. So for this new legal entity which we are creating, like for the Metro Tech, we don't have any organization structure, so that's why it's turn off. So we'll create a new organization hierarchy in the future. This parameter will get automatically turned on. So make sure you subscribe to our channel to get a notification of our future episode when we actually discuss about the organization hierarchy. So the next two toggle is used for financial consolidation process and the use for financial elimination process. So in this talking about these two toggles in the Microsoft Dynamics 365, we have concept of consolidated legal entity. That is when you have a group of company, specific company served as a parent company, then that parent company is not actual transaction is happen. This parent company is used for the consolidated financial reporting. So in such cases we might need to create a consolidated legal entity. So if you want to make this legal entity as a consolidated legal entity for consolidated financial reporting, then you need to turn on this parameter. But one important thing you need to note here, that when you turn on this parameter for this legal entity, then you can't post any transaction for this particular legal entity. So for this demonstration I have not required consolidated reporting, so I just turn off this parameter. So the next important thing in the legal entity is a language. So you have selected the suitable language for your legal entity. So I have just selected here EN US, and the time zone is also one of the more important parameters. So here we have created Indian legal entity, so I am choosing the Indian time zone over here. So I just click on this drop down, search for the Indian time zone. Okay, so here is a Chennai Kolkata. Okay, so this one is a time zone. So here we have completed our general tab. So let's move to the next important tab, is address. So one of the most important field is address. So you will see that here we have default address that has been populated with the country code, but here I want to address in very detailed manner, so I have just edit this address and we click on this edit button. So I just click on this edit button. So in the first tab we have description or name of our legal entity. Second is the purpose of the address, so whether this is a business address or delivery address, so you can, in the drop down you can select any purpose of this, like it's consignment address, fixed assets or so on. So I have keep it as a business. Next is a country region, so I have selected India over here. Next important is a zip code or postal code, so I just search for my zip code. So our zip code is not there, so I just, let's click create a new zip code address. To create a new zip code or postal code, we just click on this, right click on this drop down, click on this view details. So now system will redirect you to the postal code section. Here you can see the country, state of provision, country, city, district, street. You can, anything you can create over here if it's not there in default. So I just first click on this country region. Here you will see all the countries. Next is state and provision. If your state and provision is not default created in the system, you can create, it's over here. So let's go to the city and search for city. Mumbai is there or not. First I need to change the country to India. Clear the filter over here. Click on this apply filter. So here we have our country created. Mumbai is already created as a default, so let's only created a zip code. So last option is zip code and postal code. So again I need to select India over here, click on this apply filter. Here we have Delhi, Mumbai. So for Mumbai we have only 4 zip codes, so let's create a new zip code. I click on this option, enter my new zip code, select the state as a Maharashtra, select the country as a India, then select city as a Mumbai, district as a Mumbai, and save this option. You can also see, enter the state but for this demonstration I don't require any state now, so I just save this. Again go back to our address form. Here select our new zip code which we have created, so I just enter this. Yeah, so street name is automatically populated. And you can see that also city, district, state and country, it's we have assigned for this zip code, so this information is automatically gets pop out. Next important thing is primary. So we have keep this address as a primary address. In D365 you can specify the multiple address for one legal entity, but at one time you have only one address as a primary. So let's click on this OK option, OK button, and our address of our new legal entity is added. So for all the invoice report for this particular legal entity, this address will be printed. But whenever I purchasing good or purchasing something, I do not want my goods to come in this particular address location, because it's my only company or corporate address, but my warehouse address is different, right? So in such situation we can add the new address for the delivery purpose. So let's add the new delivery address. We can click on this new option over here. We click on this add. Here I'm mention the name as a delivery address, and the purpose this time, instead of business I select the delivery. So I just click on this, remove this business role and select the delivery as a purpose. Again select the country as a India. Postcode, zip code, this time I have selected any zip code because this is just our delivery address, so I just select any postcode for Mumbai. let's select this one. Okay, Apollo Street. Next, other information is auto populated. We have not make this address as a primary because we have already set up our corporate address as a primary address, so we just keep this disable and now click on this OK. So our new delivery address is also added. You can see here in the name and description it shows the delivery address, so it's differentiate our business address from the delivery address. So our address tab is done. Let's move to the next tab. Next tab is a contact information. So here we have important field is a contact information. So if you key in the specific information for any contact information like email address or phone number that you need to configure over here. So let's enter the phone number and the email address. So in the description, first I specified as a email, then in the type you need to select whatever you are mentioning, like you are entering the phone number, email address, URL, fax number, Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn link. So I just first keep it as a phone, enter my phone number. Okay, sorry, I just make a mistake. I enter the description, so change the description over phone over here. Okay, done. So here for the one legal entity you can specify the multiple email address, multiple phone numbers, multiple fax numbers, and we can keep one phone number, one email address as a primary. So I just click on this primary option and save this. So whenever you print the invoice, this phone number will be automatically printed in the invoice copy. So let's add the next option as an email. This time I enter the email. Here in the type I select the email address, enter my email address and keep this email address as a primary. So in our future episode, whenever we print the invoice, I will show this email and address and phone number will get how it will automatically get printed in the invoice copies. So just I just save this one. We have also have advanced option, like let's see, I just click on this advanced. Here we have another options like instant message. If you want to send an instant message based on this legal entity, so you can also enable this. For advanced option, we have this advanced option in the address field also. Let's move to our advanced. We select this our primary address. In the more option we have the advanced option. See, so I just click on this advanced and we'll see what other information or any advanced parameter we can fill for our address. So here you can specify the contact information for one specific address. So in the outside form you can specify the phone number or email address or any contact information for whole legal entity, but in the advanced option you have the ability to specify the contact information for this specific address. So for example, this 400069 pin code, you have different contacts or different phone numbers, or for the delivery address or your warehouse address have different contact information. So you can enter this detail by using this advanced tab. You can also enter the registration ID if you have any specific registration ID for these addresses. So you can enter this detail over here. You can enter the general sales tax, sales time zone for this delivery address. For example, your corporate address is in India, or your delivery address like your warehouse is in US, UK or Germany, so you can specify that time zone over here. Also you can enter the tax information in the advanced tab. So for this demonstration I have not required these details to be fulfilled, so I have just keep this as a blank. So for your, as per your requirement, you can fill these details. So I just go back to my main screen of legal entity. So we have currently covered the general tab, address tab, contact information. So let's move to the next part, which is mandatory or important. So next is a registration number. So I don't need to enter any registration number. As we discussed in our previous part of this video, whenever you select the country region at the time of creating a legal entity. Based on that, you need to fill this data for the legal entities. For example, if I have created a legal entity for Japan or Italy, where they are already using the registration numbers, so for these legal entity I need to enter the information over here. You can see that for the Brazil, Canada, Japan, Italy. So based on the company to company, this setup will be changed. So I have selected India, so I don't need to enter any data for this registration number. Next is a bank account information. So here you enter the bank information for legal entity, but it's not recommended place to normally companies to fill the data, because in the system we have different modules where you can define all the bank details specific for the legal entities. So I have keep this data as a bank information, but if you have specific requirement to enter the data of bank information for the legal entity, you can put the data over here. But as I said, you can enter only one bank account for this legal entity if you enter the data from here. So in our future episode, I will show you how you can enter the bank account details in the module level. Okay, so I just click this tab is also blank, so I just close this tab. So the next important tab is a number sequence. It's very important part in the legal entity creation. So if you don't know what is number sequence, there is some master data and transactional data in the system where the system generates unique identification number for them. Let's say your master data can be customer account number or vendor account number, and your transaction data is general ledger number. When you post a customer invoice or vendor invoice, so all these kind of data requires unique identification number generated by the system. So this unique identification number generated based on their number format that we will define within the number sequence code. In Microsoft Dynamics 365 already define the list of data that requires unique identification code, and then they listed against the relevant module in the form of reference. So for example, I'll duplicate this form, for then you'll better understand what I'm talking about, the number sequence specified in the module levels. Okay, for now I just go to accounts payable. Accounts payable, we specify the number sequence for the purchase side. So I just click on this accounts payable parameter in the number sequence tab. So here you can see that we are already in our new legal entity empty. As we created a new legal entity, system automatically redirect us from USMF legal entity to our MetroTech new legal entity. So for this new legal entity we don't have any number sequence, but system automatically lists down the references that you need to require this unique identification number. So for this purchase side account receivable parameter number sequence, you can see that relevant number sequence code, the references for purchase like vendor account, one time supplier, note ID, that requires unique identification number. So here we tag the number format. In the drop down we select the number sequence, or we create a number sequence. We can also create a manual number sequence and assign for this all the references. Similarly, we have references for the sales side also. I'll again duplicate this tab and show you the references for the accounts receivable. In the account receivable, collapse all, inside setup we have accounts receivable setup. Here we again select the number sequence. So here we have the option of sales sides like customer account, one time customer, free text invoice, and bill ID, and so on. So let's take an example of the customer accounts. Here I need to define the number sequence for the customer account. So whenever we create a customer account, or whenever we create a customer in the system, then system automatically generate a customer account number based on the number sequence code we defined over here. So let's say for example I have defined E002, and whatever the prefix or suffix I have mentioned in this customer account number, based on that code, system automatically generate the number sequence. But now create and assign the number sequence code for every reference is a very tedious process. Like you can see, for the account receivable we have this much amount of the reference. For account payable we also have this number sequence reference. This is not specified to account payable and account receivable. Each and every module in finance and operation have the reference for which it requires unique identification number sequence. So this is very tedious task to manually create the number sequence and assign individually for all references. In D365 simplify this process, we have wizard where you can automatically create the number sequence code for all the references available in the system, and it's automatically assigned based on for this reference. So let's create a automatic number sequence. For creating this, we navigate to the again modules. Inside modules we have organization administration module. Last time we selected organization for legal entities. This time I selected the number sequence. Click on this number sequence. So here we will see all the number sequence for all legal entity. So that's why you can see, even we have not created any number sequence for our Metrotech legal entity. Still we can see that multiple number sequences. So this is happening because it's a global form. So system show you all the number sequence for all legal entities. This form, why this form is global form? Because in the system we have ability to create a shared number sequence, but this is the advanced part we will discuss in the later part. Or if you want specific how this shared number sequence will work, so you can mention that in my comment section. I will definitely create a short video for this shared number sequence. So in order to create automatic number sequence for our Metrotech legal entity, we click on this generate button. So wizard screen is open now. Let's first wizard screen information. So let's just click on this next option. So in the next screen you will see that all the references of the number sequence available against the system. So here we just select all, because we have creating a number sequence for all the references. So I just click on this all the format. Here you can see that also the smallest and largest number sequence, the format is also automatically generated in the wizard. So we just click on this next option. So this is a complete summary, like it will give the count, like for account payable how much, like 1794 number sequence reference get automatically created and assigned. So this will give you the summary for all the modules, that like number of number sequence get created and assigned. So we just click on this finish option. So once we click on this finish option, our automatic creation of number sequence setup is done. So we again move to our account receivable and account payable module, where we first see that it's already showing blank for our the new legal entity. So let's see now after the setup. Again click on this number sequence. So here you can see that previously it's blank, but when we create a number sequence by using wizard, all the number sequence get automatically created. Let's see for the account receivable form. Let's refresh this page. Yeah, so it's get created. Let me let's see the one number sequence. Whatever, first take an example of customer account. So let's click on this number sequence. Here you can see that the number sequence format is empty and the asterisk. So asterisk means the numbers which get created. So for example, if you created a new customer in the system, the format of this customer account number is empty dash 00001. So if you want to change a specific format, you can also change that, like open the specific number sequence, you will get the edit option over here and change it. Like for example, I have set it as a save this and change the empty as a 1. So you can see that our number sequence format here also change empty 1 dash 0000001. So I don't want this empty to be saved, just make it as previous. Let's save this. if you want to know more about the number sequence, like in here we created a company specific number sequence, but we also created a shared number sequence or legal entity specific number sequence, operating unit, and so on. So if you want this video, like in-depth video of for the number sequence, mention that in the comment section. I'll create a specific video for the number sequence. So let's save this one, go back to again account disable. Now we again go to our legal entity form and just refresh this form, and let's see the number sequence setup is created or not. Here you can see that the number sequence setup is automatically get created and number sequence is assigned for this individual reference. So let's save this one. Now we have one more important setup is a dashboard image. So most of the customer have the specific requirement for the dashboard. So what is dashboard? Let's can go to the dashboard page first. Here you can see that for our Metro Tech you have this dashboard with the name of Metro Tech legal entity over here. But if you want to assign a specific logo for individual legal entities, like for example Metro Tech, we have saved one logo. So let's change this banner first. Here I select the logo option over here. Currently in the system we don't have any logo. You can also change the banner. We have three options. First is a none. None means you didn't get anything over here. I'll save this and show you what exactly happened in the none option. So I save this as a none, refresh this page. See, our banner is not visible now because we have selected the none option in the dashboard image. So let's again change to banner. This banner is provided by the Microsoft. It's a standard default banner. So I don't change any banner now. I just add the new logo for our company. So I just click on this change option, browse. I have saved my logo in the desktop. So let's explore for the desktop. Tech logo, open this logo. So this logo I have saved this one. Again go to dashboard, refresh this page. This time we set logo. So if I select default means the default banner. First is a none means you didn't get any option like banner, logo, nothing. For the banner you have standard default banner, and if you change to logo you will get the dashboard like this. So here we have removed the banner and only save the Metro Tech logo over here. In the dashboard level you can also edit this workspace. Like many companies have the specific requirement that they don't have this much amount of workspace. They want individual customized workspace for each individual user. So I have created one blog. Mention that link of the blog in the description, so you can check out that blog if you want to edit the or customize workspace requirement. So let's again go to our legal entity. So we have almost done our important fields that required for the legal entity creation. We also have the tax registration, tax information, tax transportation permission, but that as a beginner you don't require this information to fulfill. So we will discuss that important in the advanced part when we go through our finance modules. So that's it for this video. I hope you understand about how to create a legal entity. If you have any question or any specific part you didn't understand, just let me know in the comment section. I will try to help in this. So thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for our future episodes.